Hey, it's Rob Levy again with the Rob Levy Real Estate Team. I wanted to talk to you about three things that are really important when it comes to selling a house. And we're going to talk quite a bit about these. I'm coming at you as a real estate agent with almost 33 years of experience. So let me tell you kind of what I've heard from other people and what I've learned along the way myself, especially in our current market, which is pretty dynamic. Number one is know your emotions. Why are we talking about emotions in the sale of a real estate, right? You're selling the house. Some people say there's no emotions involved, but there are. And you see, here's why. I've been in the business a long time, as I'd mentioned, but just over the time that I've been in the business, people used to live in a house between 4 to 7 years with an average of 5. And now we're actually seeing people 10 to 12 years in houses. In the last couple of years in a row, it's been more than 10 years people are living in houses. So there are a lot of emotions when you've been living in a house for 10 years, when you consider the fact that you generally don't buy your house until late 20s, mid 30s, something like that. So you only got about 40, 50 years of actually buying and owning houses along the way. And those are major milestones in your life that go along. What if you raise kids in the house? What if you've got teenagers? What if the teenagers have now left? I'm dealing a lot right now, and I've done it myself just recently where we're downsizing and seeing a lot of that. And that's very difficult because now you're getting rid of things that are in your house. So keep your emotions in check, and remember that at the end of the day, what we're trying to do as real estate agents is get you the top dollar that we can possibly get for the house. So we've got to keep the emotions out of it. So again, recognize the fact that most people have lived in their houses these days, 10 to 12 years, and that's somewhat difficult. So get past that, which is difficult to do, but like I said, let's talk about it. The second thing is making it available. One of the biggest problems that I'm seeing lately is people are putting new houses on the market. There's a lot of buyers coming through because the interest rates, while yeah, they're creeping up a bit, but they're still much lower than they have been in the past, and people know now's the time to pounce on something because they're expected to go up. This chart right here actually shows you that interest rates this is from Yahoo. They're talking about how interest rates are expected now to hit 4% before the end of 2021. So that's a significant increase considering we were seeing in the low twos very recently, and for the last several months they've been in the high twos, very, very low threes. So that makes a difference in your finances. That's causing more people to come and look at houses. Here's what we're doing, and you might want to talk about your realtor and your marketplace. And by the way, a couple of things here before I go on. Please click on subscribe down below to get these on a regular basis, and feel free to share this with a friend. And if you're thinking about selling your house, even if you're not in my market, which is Portland, Oregon, and if you're wherever in the United States, or actually for North America or the world for that matter, as a top producing realtor, I'm connected with other top producing realtors. So I'm always happy to research somebody out for you and set you up with that top producing realtor in your marketplace. So here's what we're doing. We're kind of structuring it all where we can have our cake and eat it too, and we meaning us and the sellers. And so we're scheduling photos for early in a week, like maybe on a Monday, and then doing the 360 tours and all the other stuff that we're doing as well. It takes a day or so to get those processed, get those signs, to get those flyers over to the printer, get the special ones that go on the sign outside printed and everything else. And we're having houses go live with the sign up and everything on Thursday nights. What I'm asking most of my sellers to do in this current market is actually leave the house Thursday afternoon and don't come back until Monday lunchtime. So we're kicking them out of town, and we're in Oregon, so we have lots of places to go. So they're going to the coast, they're going to the Central Oregon deserts, like in Bend and areas like that, and they're just going away. So what we're allowing then is we can allow easy access for showings. So an agent wants to book a showing, they literally book it through the app, boom, it instantly okays them, assuming there's no other showing at that time, because during the COVID times, we don't want overlaps. And so we've got all these showings stacked up, let's say on Friday. On Saturday, we stack up showings as well, but we also build in an open house because it's the first weekend it's on the market. And when you're going to do an open house, if the open houses I'm not a huge fan of, for the simple reason that the odds of somebody walking by and walking in the house and saying, oh yeah, this is a woman we've been waiting our whole lives for, are fairly slim. But if you're going to do it, it makes sense to do it on the first weekend. So we'll structure a 2 or 3 hour open house on that first Saturday. And we've got showings before it and showings after it. Then we'll do one again on Sunday. So we've got a second open house on the Sunday. I'm actually creating this on a Monday, and we just did this on the house this weekend. And we had showings right up until 9:30 at night last night, and with multiple offers this morning. So what we then did is sat there and looked over all of the offers. There's always one or two that float to the top. Proposed the one or two to the sellers on to which ones we probably make the most sense for them, and we picked an offer. So what we did is, I feel like, as far as protecting the seller in this case, is we stacked the deck in the favor of the seller. We generated all of this excitement. With all of this excitement and other people looking at it, that see other people pulling in at the same time they're pulling out and so on, it creates a sense of activity and a sense of, maybe we should write an offer on this and maybe we should step up. And yeah, this one this weekend sold for quite a bit more than full price. And that leads into the third one here, and that's pricing. And this is really extremely important. It's very important to price your house correctly, even in a crazy market right now. I've had people say, well, Rob, let's price it at X and let's just see where it goes. Well, there's negatives and positives with that. If you price it too low, people think there's something wrong with it, and they actually won't look at it. So you really can't price it too low in that regard. If you price it too high, that's a real mess. And what happens there is, let's use a number. Let's say it's a $500,000 house. And you price the house at $575,000. But everybody knows the similar houses in the neighborhood were selling for $500,000. Well, what will happen is people will drive by the house and they'll say, look at the flyer, oh my gosh, that's way overpriced. That's $575,000. And they'll wait, and in a few days we drop the price to $550,000. Maybe a week later we drop it to $525,000. And maybe a couple of weeks after that we drop it to $499,900. Now, the argument being, if it's at $499,900 in the first place, we would have had multiple offers and it would have sold for quite a bit more than that. But now we've got 3-4 weeks on the market and we're at $499,900, and somebody says, oh man, I remember that place when it was $575,000, they dropped it to $499,000. They must be desperate. Let's shoot them an offer of $475,000. And so in this example, they very easily could have lost $100,000 by making that mistake of overpricing the house. So overpricing is extremely important not to do. And again, underpricing, what we've seen people do is put a house at a stupid low price. Let's say this $500,000 house and they price it at $395,000, and I've seen that happen. And then people won't look at it because they're like, oh, there must be something really wrong with it. I don't want to get into that. My wife and I both work. We don't have the time to fix a house up, and so on. And so, again, this chart that I've been showing you really kind of puts it in perspective as to where you want to find it right in the middle that's just the perfect pricing for your house. So again, to capitalize on these three things, check your emotions, keep them out of it. At this point, when you're hiring a realtor like me to get top dollar for your house, my job is strictly to get top dollar for your house. It's wonderful you raised your kids there. I get it. My wife and I recently sold our house of 20 years. We raised 3 boys there. They went to college. They left college. We sold the house and scaled down to the one that I'm actually doing this video from right now in front of my lovely green screen. So I get it. The emotions are extremely important, but from my perspective as your realtor, I'm trying to get you top dollar for the house. And then the second thing that we just talked about, of course, is making yourself gone. Just be gone for the first weekend. Make your house available. If you choose not to leave, which is fine, you're going to need to know that it's a massive invasion of your privacy with people coming through your house all the time. So just be prepared for that. And by the way, we're not talking about just about appointments. Hey, I want to show your house at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Sometimes there's an agent showing a house down the street and they drive by and the buyers say, what about that house? And I'll sit there and I'll call and say, hey, I'm in front of your house. I'd like to show it right now. So you need to be prepared for your house to be shown at any given time because you don't want to lose that buyer because you never really know who's going to buy it. And then, of course, we talked about pricing and how important it is to not put it here and not put it here, but to put it where it's supposed to be. And if you put it where it's supposed to be, it's going to sell for the list price or above the list price in this market. And those three things are going to get you top dollar. Now, if you've got any questions on any of this, my information's right below. Again, my team and I have been doing this in Portland, Oregon since 1988, so almost 33 years. Happy to share our experiences with you. And if you need a realtor somewhere else in the country, happy to help you there too. Give us a call, send us an email, make a comment down below, and please click on subscribe and share with a friend. Thank you so very much for watching this video.